At a very general level, the really biggest problem is just the sheer rapidity of changes in universities over the past 50 years or so, in this country, but also worldwide. And we can start shopping lists of the changes we think that matter most. I worked in the same university for 36 years as a lecturer, and when I started, the class sizes were tiny, and when I finished, my smallest class was 120, my biggest was 450. I, we internationalized incredibly rapidly. We increased student numbers. We diversified our student base very rapidly. Mostly things that were really, really welcomed. But throughout all those periods, that period of incredibly rapid change, the university estate didn't change very much. The basic methods of doing things didn't change that much. We had the internet, and then we had the web in the early years of my career. I mean, totally life-changing stuff. And then, recently we've had bureaucratization, incredibly rapid marketization. So at the very least, even if I do happen to think that universities in general are wonderful institutions. I love them to bits, and I love my home university to bits, even though I left in a bit of a bad state a couple of years ago, but I still love it to bits.
Never burn bridges.
But I do think that, well, they always have to keep reinventing themselves. They always have to keep rethinking. And particularly post-COVID, I thought, well, this is a time when universities really are going to radically rethink, and that everything they've done it really started yet. But I do think there's a lot of serious reinvention needs to be.
All right, okay. You putting a bit of a positive spin on that, I guess.
So I'm saying the pace of change is the big problem, but then within that there are more specific changes we might want to unpack. But also we shouldn't. So this I speak as a happiness lecturer. We shouldn't stop thinking aspirationally about them. If you compare universities to other kinds of major institutions, universities have always tried to be aspirational from the get-go. They tried to be a place for communities of scholars to think different, to do things differently, in really aspirational ways. Schooling, by contrast, which I think now is in some ways more aspirational than it was. As far as I understand it, the history of schooling is it was mainly invented to keep kids out of trouble, so it was remedial. But, schooling was invented as a remedial solution to a problem. And other big institutions, health services, of course, respond to illnesses, military respond to military threats. But universities are fundamentally and have to be aspirational before they start being problem-oriented.